Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, DIGI. We are off and back into the land of Euro Truck Simulator 2 because I'm going back to Japan. My alter ego, Tanaka Hidesaki, has been trying to earn the cheddar required to obtain his own truck. And as it turns out, it has not been easy. I mean, easy in the sense that yes, you can play the game, and yes, you can actually earn money with quick jobs. But as you will see, I still don't have enough money for my own truck because the trucks overseas in this map mod are expensive. I don't know what the conversion is off the top of my head between yen and some of the more common currencies, but I have 3.8 million yen. And if I go to used trucks, the cheapest used truck that I can seem to see is 12 million yen. So I'm about a quarter of the way there. And I don't think they get more expensive going up. But since I'm browsing, let me see what I can get. I think I like the Volvos, but I think I'm going to reserve that for general ETS2 ops, like in Europe, in my other sign-in. Right now, I like the Renault, and I like the Iveco trucks. Scania is a nice option too, but I think it's either going to be Renault or it's going to be Scania. Maybe MAN. Right now, though, I have nothing. So I'm going to take a job and we're going to figure out what it is that's out there. Okay, just double checking my volume levels. You can have incredibly long jobs, or you can have incredibly short ones. The incredibly short ones really don't pay that much in the grand scheme, but the benefit is if you don't mind, going back and forth from the menu, you can do basically 10 of these quick jobs will make it 540,000 yen. And these jobs are literally going from one seaport to the other to board a boat. And the equivalent would basically be you driving 248 kilometers, and the map is as compressed as it usually is in ETS2. The major difference is when you're driving in Project Japan, the speed limits trend much lower than the usual speed limits you'd see on European roads, certainly lower than the roads in American Truck Sim. So what would probably take me something like just over an hour of real time is going to actually take me probably closer to an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours of real time. However, given that I don't do long hauls in Project Japan at all, this one might be interesting because we'd be going out of this island back to Osaka, Kobe, take another boat, and then wind up around Kanazawa, and then wind up in Jetsu. And I do not believe I've visited that town yet. I don't actually even think I visited that town in the earlier versions of Project Japan. So this might actually be something I do. Now, let me think. If that takes me, let me just assume. Let's assume that I get like a 60,000 yen job, which is ridiculously small. If that takes me somewhere upwards of 5 minutes to do, and I do that 10 times, that would be about 50 minutes. So 50 to 60 minutes, so about an hour. But if I do this in one shot, then that would take me a little bit more than twice as long, but it would also be one shot, one stream, and I'd be done. And maybe I'd do a quick job afterwards just to kind of have some fun, or maybe that would be the entire stream. But given that I've already been talking for about 5 or 6 minutes, and that this is actually an interesting idea and the longest job I've ever taken, we can collectively discover whether or not this would be beneficial for me to do. And it would also give me a chance to visit the northern shore of Japan, which is not a place I've been to many times. I have favored driving between Tokyo and Yokohama, and I have favored going from Tokyo to Osaka and Kobe. I haven't visited this island too much, and maybe I should, to be honest. So, let's take this job, let's have some fun, and if it is like an hour and a half stream, that's exactly what it is, which is what I'm assuming. Because usually a compressed map, 14 minutes of average speed limits in ETS or ATS would be about 40 minutes, and then like another, let's see, 12 would be 40 minutes. So that's almost 12 and a half. So it would probably be something like about an hour. So this is going to be more like an hour and a half. Yeah, seriously. I am taking boric acid. And the other alternative is used packaging from Kitakyushu down to Tokushima. It's almost a cool 1,000 yen more per kilometer, and I think the journey is actually longer. So I think I'll actually take this, and we'll be surprised together if it takes me less than an hour and a half. Let's go. All right, got my screen set, and we're going to hit the road shortly. Thanks for tuning in, or thanks for watching on the replay if you are not watching live. Appreciate having you all with me today. There we go. It's roughly 12:51 a.m. in the land of the rising sun, and we're going to be hopping a boat over to the North Shore, but we have to get out of the island first. I forget the name of the island. If you are in chat and you are more well versed with the geography, please feel free to let me know. Check my levels for a moment. Alright, so hopefully the volume should be okay. Let me know if my mic is too quiet or too loud. Same thing for sim sounds, and I'll try to adjust levels accordingly just to make sure everybody has an enjoyable experience. Now, let's see. How do I get out of this place? There we go. That should be the entrance over there. Let's get it done. Things I've come to understand about driving in Project Japan: roads are way narrower than you might expect. Also, parking is generally more challenging even on the base levels. So it's not something that I'm going to choose to do often. What am I trying to say? It's not something I'm going to choose to challenge myself into doing unless I'm feeling adventurous or it's not that difficult. In general, I have trended towards not parking my truck or parking it in very easy ways, because driving in Japan generally does tend to consume more of my brain power. But I will say, ever since I really got into the swing of driving a virtual truck in Project Japan, it has rapidly become one of my favorite modifications to ETS2. There were a few mods that I did in the past, like having the winter mod, having, traffic pack mod. Project Japan comes with, I think, a couple of additions. One of them is the Japanese company mod, which shows you actual legit Japanese companies. And the other one is, I think there is a even more challenging parking mod where I forget exactly how it works. You have to pay attention to the delivery plan or what they tell you when you pick up your job, because you either have to go find where to park, or they tell you, but you don't see the exact place you have to go on the map when you get close to your destination. So that is challenging in and of itself. I don't think I'm ready for that at all. I'm still trying to get used to driving around Japan, but I will say, kind of like, you know, next level practice when you're practicing sports, the level of effort you're putting into driving in this map mod is such that driving in American Truck Sim or Euro Truck Sim 2 normal maps is easier by comparison. And I still haven't gone back to driving in Europe yet, to be completely transparent. So if and when I do, it's gonna be an interesting experience to see how driving in Japan has impacted my ability to operate a vehicle there. Okay, so I can't go. Do I go that way? Wait, hold on. Okay. I'm not sure where I'm going here. This is a little confusing. My guess is I'm getting on the highway, because I don't think this goes anywhere. In fact, I think this goes back down the road. Got confused for a moment, chat. But good afternoon or good evening, or maybe even good morning, depending on the corner of the world you call home. I understand right now in Japan, in Tokyo, it's probably 6 or 7:34 in the morning on Sunday. I am from the relative area of the mid-Atlantic USA, so areas like, Baltimore, Philly, New York, Boston, East Coast time. It's 4:35 for me right now. So expected time is going to be 16 hours and 50 minutes of sim time for delivery, and I suspect the boat ride will probably knock half to maybe as much as 60% of that time off the clock, but I do believe there is going to be quite a bit of driving for me to deliver this load. So suffice it to say, we're in for what I believe is going to be my very first Japanese long haul in Euro Truck Sim 2. Or, let me put it to you another way, my longest haul, because I think I did a medium to long haul not that long ago on a weeknight, if I recall correctly. The highway system in this country definitely gets my attention, just because of the amount of both maneuvering and challenge that comes from it. Not to mention having to mind my speed. I'm not afraid to confess that I have been dinged multiple times with speeding offense violations, and they're not cheap. I would probably say speeding tickets are I think, equivalent of somewhere between 150 to like $200 or $300 US every offense. And I'm guessing kind of like the American system, depending on the amount of speed that you had, that's how much you're going to pay. That's just my guess. But we are going to be leaving what I call island life per se to get back to mainland Japan. And this is going to take like a cool 5 to 10 minutes. This is like a long loop over a town. Then we're going to be crossing a fairly long bridge in 2 or 3 segments. I remember I thought I looked up the name of the bridge a long time ago. I'd forgotten about it since, but I may have to start getting back into looking into more Japanese culture and experiences. And I think this has already started to bleed over into my stream habits in a cool way, because I started to watch people from Japan streaming in Japanese, and I'm hopeful that I'll start getting back into my old habit of learning Japanese and just taking some time to do that. I might, to be honest with you, I just might. Because I really would like to go to Japan once in my life and experience the culture and see, really cool tech things, ride the bullet train, or ride a nice luxurious train and experience the food and the people. Just get to see things up close. A couple of summers ago, I went to not Japan, Alaska with my family, and for somebody that's lived in, the mainland US for many, many, many years, going up to Alaska and experiencing just the landscape and the food and talking to people and just getting to know folks on the trip, it was an incredible experience, and I really would like to go back at some point in the near future. Let's see. I definitely want to watch myself. I do not want to get another speeding violation. I've already got more than a few of them, so I want to be careful. And if that goes to 54 kilometers per hour, I definitely want to slow down. It's interesting because 100 kilometers per hour is about 62 something-ish miles per hour. So still 30 miles an hour seems much faster than I used to think it did. Stay on this lane. So the bridge taking me back to the Kobe, Osaka area is going to be, I think, 3 segments, and I believe this is the first. The suspension bridge portion of the bridge is going to be one or two segments. At least I believe it is. There is a name for this route. There is a name for this section of bridges that bridges the gap between this smaller island and mainland Japan. I just forgot what it was. I might have to look that up when I'm done streaming tonight. But welcome. Welcome if you're new, or if you've been watching me for a while and you're lurking. Don't worry and do not feel bad if you don't want to talk or say anything. I heart my lurkers. You all bring up the channel algorithm, so thank you for being here. If you just like listening in the background while you're doing things, I hope that I make your afternoon, evening, or morning a more enjoyable experience. So I don't remember if this was one of the two suspension bridges. This could be actually the only bridge, but I thought there was another one. I will most definitely say, driving in Project Japan has given me new appreciation and really stoked the fire for me doing virtual trucking more so than I can recall in recent memory. Don't get me wrong, the default map in ETS2 is fantastic, and they're continuing to add on to it and expand it and redo portions of it, like the rework of, I think, Germany and Austria. I mean, I started playing this as far back as like 2014, 2015, and the graphics back then were nice, but I think as we continue to push the boundaries of the computers and the GPUs and the CPUs that we have, there's more detail and more interesting things that are coming into the sim. And I remember having to exit the highway here because I did a delivery. I think the town is called Tokushima. There were like so many twists and turns to get down to the shore. Okay, yes, this is a second suspension bridge segment, and I think this is the longest one. At least in terms of the compressed map, anyway. Put my high beams on for a little while. And I've talked about this before, but some people are like, all you do is drive a virtual truck? Like, you're not going anywhere? Well, in one sense, I'm not knocking on anyone that has difficulty with the concept of driving a virtual truck. Kind of like that was interesting. A convertible with some people sitting in the back cheering. That was nice. Where was I? Oh, yes. Some folks might have difficulty seeing how driving a virtual truck in a simulator in a semi-realistic manner is enjoyable, especially if those same folks drive actual trucks for a living. I'm of the persuasion that says, hey, I fly fake planes in a simulator from place to place. So why not do the same with fake trucks? And it's been an enjoyable experience for me so far, and I'm definitely a fan. Especially when you have as much detail in places like Japan and all these cities and all these areas. driving single lane roads up and down the sides of hills to driving multi-lane highways and just enjoying the experience. I mean, that's been my persuasion. I don't know about anybody else, but it's been a very interesting trip. Trucking also gives me more appreciation for the men and women that deliver the goods that are sold in marketplaces, that are sold in supermarkets, that are sold in, convenience stores and grocery stores. Those things have to come off a ship or plane and get loaded onto maybe, a train or something, but eventually they have to be delivered, you know, on a vehicle into those areas where you actually, get to purchase and then consume them. I think this is my stop, so I'm going to start coasting down a bit, especially since the exit's going to be slow. All right, we started somewhere around, I think, 17 hours and roughly 10 minutes of sim time for the total trek. I think we're going to start to get close to where the seaport is that we need to board a boat to get to the North Shore. And if you see me slow down a lot to go through a toll booth, the backstory to that is some of these booths are so narrow that the things like the gates that go up and down and the collision detection on your vehicle, you might wind up actually hitting them and then damaging your trailer. And the last delivery that I made off stream, I think I either, oh no, it wasn't a gate, it was actually the side of the highway. I snagged the trailer on one of those curvy sound barriers as I was going down the highway, and I gave myself like 14% trailer damage, which is not a good look when you're trying to deliver goods, especially when the trailer and the truck aren't yours. So I want to try to be more careful. But back to the point about driving virtual trucks and enjoying the process. I've come to enjoy that. And sometimes if I'm just driving after doing work, and I work as a software developer IRL, the absence of, you know, having to strain my brain too much and just follow the rules of the road, it makes the experience just like a detune or a detox from my day, sitting in front of a computer writing code. So it's enjoyable. And to those of you in the room that know me for my efforts making scenery in airports for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I will go ahead and say I haven't dismissed making more airports and finishing the airports that I've started, which is quite a lot. But as I transitioned from some IRL responsibilities and projects that I was working on, I started to come back to a healthier place mentally where I can start getting back to those projects, start enjoying those things again, and basically I do feel like I'm getting back to a better place where I can enjoy those things again. And the cooler I am off about those things, the better and the more, what I'm trying to say, the more likely streams are going to happen again where I do scenery dev. But needless to say, the thought is still strong in my mind I still have much desire to create airports and do things like that. It's just on a different schedule these days, and I'm okay with that. Certainly okay with that. The number of merges that I have done in the past, I think like 20 or 30 minutes, that's impressive. Looks like I'm going downhill a little bit. Gotta be careful as well. I trend towards being more off the left side of the vehicle because I can very easily bump up against the sound barriers up at the top, or at least I've found I have in the past. So I'm way more conscious of my truck's dimensions than I used to be. Again, especially since, as you can see from my mirrors and exactly where I'm pointing the truck, having the road be this narrow means you really have to pay attention to what your surroundings are. Because it's very easy for you to wind up messing up your truck without even thinking about it. All right, now hold on. I'm doing this again because I have to. It does look like I'm exiting the highway here because I'm going to... Wait, I'm exiting the highway here? Yes, I am, because this highway keeps going this way, and then I basically have to take local roads to get to the shore, and I believe this is I think this is Osaka. So I have to exit the highway, turn right, turn left, take surface roads down to this road, and then get to 4, exit the highway again, and then wind up taking a boat from this area. So yes, I do think I'm going to be exiting here, even though it doesn't look like it at first. Brakes on this truck are really good. So, if you've heard me talking for the past, I don't know what, 20, 30 minutes at this point, and talking about Project Japan and Euro Truck Simulator 2 and wondering what all this is and, where am I driving? Euro Truck Simulator 2 is a truck simulator title released by SCS Software on the Steam platform, Steam, and it's been a trucking sim that's existed literally for the past 10 years. And you can drive in Europe, but that's not the only place you can drive. There are plenty of other map mods that exist that have been made by people where you can drive. In fact, one of the, I think, most commonly known map mod systems, which I have yet to actually experience myself, is something called Pro Mods, which is a more intricate version of the same main European map, and also has other regions as well, including Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And since I have all the map mods right now, I might actually finally pick that up just to see what the experience is like and whether or not it's worth the extra, I want to say, extra effort. So, if I don't get on the highway, I'm assuming what's going to happen is I'm going to have to get turned around here. And it's not going to be impossible to do. It's just going to take a lot longer. So I think I actually am going to go to the right unless that's not where I go. Let me take a look at the overhead sign. Oh, I can't even see it. Gah. Well, that sucks. That is 5, I believe. All right, can I see it now? Yes. Okay. All right, gently, Digi. Careful, careful. Can't go through the toll booth that fast anyway, so 20 kilometers per hour. What is that, like a fifth of 60 miles an hour? So that is literally like 15 miles an hour. Excuse me, 12. Okay, so I made the right choice. Good. I'm into Japanese cars as well, so being on this map makes it more enjoyable because I get to see a lot more of them. New and old ones. So I'm probably somewhere between 45 and 50 miles an hour. It really does kind of feel that way. What impresses me about driving a truck in Europe or in Japan, especially in Japan at least, is that they've gotten the the sense of speed down. I mean, I can't speak much to this looking realistic because I've driven. I've never. I think I only drove a trailer once in my life, and that was a long time ago. So I can't speak to the reality of whether or not this looks as real, even though the truck was sitting up pretty high, the one that I drove. So, oof, that was really close on the left side. Also looks like it's starting to rain a little bit in the sim. Just a sprinkle. Depending on how I feel when we actually get to our destination, I might do another run. But again, I suspect driving on the northern shore, the speed limits are going to be even lower. So it's probably going to still take me a good chunk of time to get there. Given how much time we have left, I am assuming it's going to be another like 30 to 40 minutes. I have another screen on which tells me if there are any comments in chat, but if for some reason it's not working and I haven't actually, gotten any comments from you guys, I apologize. Pretty sure I had to come this route. Starting to hear like ship noises, I think, so I think we're good. I think I've got about 2 or 3 minutes before I actually board the ship to get to the North Shore. We'll see how that pans out. Gotta make a right turn and go down a different street. It's not gonna be a U-turn. And then we'll board the bus. Excuse me, the boat. Sound of rain hitting a windshield and the roof of a vehicle, just soothing to me. Okay, so the first part of this trip is coming to an end. We crossed the big bridge and got back into mainland Japan. We're going to be trading the cities of Osaka and Kobe for the northern shore of Japan, and then we should be making our first delivery sometime in the next 45 minutes or so. IRL time, that is. Again, my suspicion is that it's probably going to be sometime around the evening when we actually finish the delivery, because I think this boat ride is going to take upwards of, I don't know, like 10-ish minutes. We're going to Jetsu. So we're not going to Tokyo. We're not going back. We're going north. 12 hours. Ah, that's beautiful. Daylight. Many of the deliveries that I had over the past few days of trucking wound up being nighttime deliveries, which is cool. I mean, you know, the highway's nicely lit at night, but I was starting to get to a point where I was just like, you know, I wanted to see more of the countryside and the buildings and stuff like that, and I just wasn't seeing as much as at night. All right, so about 2 hours and 3 minutes of sim time. And again, because of the lower speed limits out here, it's not going to take me just 20 minutes to get the rest of the trip done. It will take some time. Let's see, how much gas do I have right now? I think I'm going to put some more gas in the tank just to make sure I don't run out. I probably won't. $141.87 per liter. And I think probably got somewhere between, I don't know, 80 to 100 plus bucks of gas just now. I have been to this area, but I haven't driven as far north as I will be driving in quite a bit. Again, welcome aboard to everybody that's new here or that's been watching and lurking in the background. We are on, I think, the final leg here. And depending on how I feel when we actually deliver the cargo, I might take another quick haul or just call the stream. Looks like a nice Japanese afternoon in the sim. It is the morning over in, like, say, Tokyo and Osaka and Kobe IRL. Swing out just a teensy bit. Watch out for traffic. Watch out for the fence. Okay, I'm pleased with that turn. Again, so much detail here. I like it. After I wrap up with this, I might make myself some tea and watch some Japanese YouTube videos like channels like Life Where I'm From or Only in Japan, stuff like that. We do have a ways to go, so we are going to be exiting the city shortly. getting on the highway, it seems like. And since I have nobody around, I'm going to swing wide, take the corner comfortably, set myself up for the coast through option. ETC, Electronic Toll Collection. And here we go. Sometimes I use ETS or ATS with the lossless scaling add-on that not add-on, but tool to get some generated frames. But it's nice to know, just stock with my current setup, that it's a nice, smooth experience. If you do have all of the map DLC for Euro Truck Sim 2 and you decide to get Project Japan, the process is involved, but it's not impossible. You have to pay attention to the instructions they give you, because if you don't, you might wind up accidentally downloading other applications that you don't want. And it's just the nature of the process. It's not something that I'm sure it's not something that they've deliberately intended. It's just that the hosting that they have just operates a certain way. But I wanted to say, when you get Project Japan, you go to the official site. There's a process they have spelled out. If you are still stuck on that process, just reach out to them through their Discord, and they will step you through the process. I had difficulty getting it installed, and I told them what happened, and they were patient with me, and I was able to get it installed, and I'm glad I did, because it's just an enjoyable mod. I think the next thing that I probably want to try, though, is driving in Canada. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get the Pro Mods map for Canada, or if there's a different map pack that's available for it. I will wind up checking it out at some point, because I want to visit areas, especially if we're talking about areas like, you know, the western portion of Canada. But I don't know what they have mapped because I never downloaded it. So one step at a time. This is a nice healthy speed. I'm happy. The truck speed is still 80 kilometers per hour, but the other vehicle speed is like 100. So if I was in traffic, I'd be getting passed up by a whole bunch of cars. At the rate we're going, we should probably get there in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Also, there are some tall mountains at a distance just now that are coming into view. Rendering engine being what it is, I'm not bothered by that. I know it's a sim. My brain's like, oh, it's all loading in now. But it's okay. especially if those mountains are as high up as I think they are. That seems justifiable. Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. When you install Project Japan, you might wind up having difficulty operating it, especially if you try to use it and you keep crashing to desktop. What you have to do is to change your config file in, I think, the Euro Truck Sim 2 documents folder. There's some kind of buffer pool size or buffer config where I think by default it's set to 10, and I set mine to 40. I don't know if this is a ratio of like RAM or, hard disk space to memory access, but I think it controls how much stuff is being loaded. So I think I know it was required for me to get that loaded so that I could actually keep using the map mod, but I think there's some kind of, I don't know, explanation. I didn't look too much into it. I just know that when I changed it, it was actually possible for me to start using it again. Looks beautiful out here. Wow. All right, under an hour of sim time. It's kind of amazing. And I do believe this is now the furthest north I've gone driving a virtual truck in Japan. May have to reward myself with some ramen later. If you're curious about driving a virtual truck and you'd like to try your hand at it, on Steam, Euro Truck Simulator 2 goes on sale at certain points during the year, or sometimes when they release certain add-ons. So if you see it and it's not at a price point that you like, as long as that price point isn't like $5 or $10, keep your eye on it, and what will most likely happen is it will go on sale in a few weeks or a few months. And then when it does go on sale, sometimes what also happens is if you don't have a lot of the map DLC that's available, Steam does this really cool thing where the makers of the product will have this kind of like catch-up bundle where you can grab a whole bunch of map mods, and whichever map mods you already possess, you won't get charged for. So you don't have to buy a complete pack just for the sake of having it. You'll only get charged for the stuff that you actually need, which will be what you actually purchase. Look at that. Man, North Shore for real. Almost in. Looks like we're still going to be doing about maybe 10 to 15 minutes worth of driving. Like legitimate driving. And there is a traffic light here, so I have to wait for it to change. Let's head to the toll booths and get going. I enjoyed this route a lot more than I was expecting to. This was pretty dope. I'll probably revisit a lot of these viewpoints, the ones that look like movie cameras, once I have my own truck. For the sake of trying to get these jobs delivered, I'm not going to put myself out of joint, so to speak, to try to just get there and, possibly ding and dent my truck and trailer again, which aren't mine because these are quick jobs. But I can say that I'm enjoying the process. Okay, so this is pretty neat actually. This turned out to be a little bit under an hour, which is in keeping with the map compression that we have, this 110 map compression, which is what SCS software developed and uses for Euro Truck Sim and American Truck Sim. This is wonderful. The level of detail and the overall experience that they've managed to compress makes me feel like a lot of this would be close to reality. And this is absolutely wonderful. This actually makes me want to go somewhere for like the summer and just check out the sites and do that. And hopefully I can actually get to go to Providence for Flight Sim Expo this year. But I am not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to actually pan out because I'm not 100% sure what my situation is going to wind up being in the next few weeks and months. But let me take it a step at a time. Ooh, nice Scooby. All right, welcome to the destination. They need the truck over there. They'll take the truck here, and that's exactly what I intend to do. This was a very nice delivery. Certainly not something that I was anticipating. All right. Let's take a quick peek around before we actually press T and unload this thing. This was the truck that I was driving, a DAF, which is a nice looking truck, but honestly, I feel like I could do without the ding or the alert system that it has for navigating turns or proximity warnings. I think that's what it does whenever you turn left or right. So I'm not worried about it. One more reason for me not to get this specific truck. But look, there's a 7-Eleven. I can park the truck up and go get some food. Decoupling. And done. 250 kilometers in 16 hours and 43 minutes of in-game time, which resulted in it being just about an hour, give or take 5 or 10 minutes. And I am now halfway through level 3 on my way to level 4 and the enthusiast tag at level 5. that was pretty cool. That was pretty nice. Hopefully you have enjoyed the trip as well. I don't think I'm going to do another haul on stream today. I might reserve these once and done routes for the odd night during the week, since I do like driving in Japan a lot. Right now, I'm about a little bit less than halfway to owning my first truck. Although theoretically, I could conceivably take a loan out from the bank, and if I do that, I could take a roughly 14 million yen, 14.5 million yen loan, and then repay about 422,000 yen a day, 423,000 yen a day, which would mean I would need to take lots of medium to long haul routes just to make that money back. But the basic truck routes are so nice anyway, as the quick jobs, I mean, that even if I keep doing that, I'm going to, in my opinion, enjoy the experience more. And then once I have my own truck, I will most likely have a great time driving and experiencing the maps. So this is Japan. They might, I think this is the island of Honshu, and I think this is Hokkaido, unless I have them twisted around. And as you can see, there's basically one region here for Tokyo and Yokohama, and there's also this large region here, which is one of the regions that I saw before. And then they also have this region, which has expanded to fill this major island, and then one final region out west. There's also a teeny region where they actually apparently have you, drive on a racetrack? That's kind of cool. So once I get my own truck, I should be able to hop on a boat from here, and I think that's the only boat that actually takes you to that island in Kobe. So I might have to check out the island of Suzuka. This may be a play on reality. Again, DIGI geography is spotty at best. So if Suzuka is not on an island IRL, they probably just snuck this onto the map just so you could have some fun with your truck. So that's definitely a future trip for sure. But folks, I think I am going to call it at this point. It's been a great drive out to the northern shore of Japan. Some new highways that I have not driven on, and wonderful experience this evening. Lots of toll booths, lots of highways, lots of merging, on-ramps, off-ramps, twisty roads, beautiful vistas, and honestly, I think the northern shore is going to become a part of my repertoire now that I've seen what it looks like and what the deliveries are that are possible. I will potentially be back to streaming on either Monday or Tuesday night, or because of my current schedule, I will probably be on Wednesday, because the first few days of this week, again, are different schedule for me. And then I'll probably either be on Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be on Friday at all, to be honest, and this coming weekend. But not this Monday, but the coming Monday is President's Day, so I may wind up doing a stream then to have a little bit of fun, blow off some steam. It's been a privilege hanging out with you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your Saturday or Sunday if you're overseas, and I hope that you have a great day, whatever it is you're doing. Thanks for accompanying me. Thanks for lurking and hanging out if you have. And if you've come to this point watching the archive video, I really appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, You want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Have a great night, everybody. Take care, and until next time, we'll see ya.